right, 61. And the battle inclined to one side, for earlier advancing against one another, they had battled incessantly in mighty combats. But then, among the foremost, Coeus and Briareus and Gyges, insatiable of war, roused a bitter battle, and they hurled 300 boulders from their massive hands, one after another, and overshadowed the Titans with their missiles. They sent them down under the broad path earth and bound them in distressful bonds after they had gained victory over them with their hands. High-spirited though they were, as far down beneath the earth as the sky is above the earth. For it is just as far from the earth to murky Tartarus, for a bronze anvil falling down from the sky for 9 nights and days. On the 10th day would arrive at the earth, and in turn it is the same distance from the earth to murky Tartarus. And again, a bronze anvil falling down from the earth for 9 nights and days. On the 10th would arrive at Tartarus. Around this a bronze barricade is extended, and on both sides of it night is poured out threefold around its neck, and above it grow the roots of the earth and of the barren sea. That is where the Titan gods are hidden under murky gloom by the plans of the cloud-gatherer Zeus, in a dank place at the farthest part of a huge earth. They cannot get out, for Poseidon has set bronze gates upon it, and a wall is extended on both sides. That is where Gyges, Coeus, and great-spirited Briareus dwell, the trusted guards of Aegis holding Zeus. That is where the sources and limits of the dark earth are, and of murky Tartarus, of the barren sea, and of the starry sky, of everything, one after another, distressful, dank, things which even the gods hate, a great chasm whose bottom one would not reach in a whole long year. Once one was inside the gates, but one would be borne hither and thither by one distressful blast after another. It is terrible for the immortal gods as well. This monstrosity and the terrible houses of dark night stand there, shrouded in black clouds. In front of these, Apetius' son holds the broad sky with his head and tireless hands, standing immovable, where night and day passing near greet one another as they cross the great bronze threshold. The one is about to go in, and the other is going out the door, and never does the house hold them both inside, but always the one goes out from the house and passes over the earth, while the other, in turn remaining inside the house, waits for the time of her own departure until it comes. The one holds much seeing light for those on the earth, but the other holds sleep in her hands, the brother of death, deadly night, shrouded in murky cloud. That is where the children of dark night have their houses, sleep and death, terrible gods. Never does the bright sun look upon them with his rays when he goes up into the sky, nor when he comes back down from the sky. One of them passes gently over the earth and the broad back of the sea, and is soothing for human beings. But the other one's temper is of iron, and the bronze heart in his chest is pitiless. Once he takes hold of any human, he owns him, and he is hateful even for the immortal gods. That is where in front stand the echoing houses of the earthly god, a powerful Hades, and of dread Persephone, and a terrible dog guards them in front, pitiless. He has an evil trick upon those going in. He fawns alike with his tail and with both ears, but he does not let them leave again. Instead of observing them closely, he devours whomever he catches trying to go out from the gates of the powerful Hades and dread Persephone. That is where the goddess dwells, who is loathsome for the immortals, terrible Styx, the oldest daughter of backward-flowing ocean. She lives apart from the gods in a famous mansion vaulted with great crags. It is set fast upon silver pillars on every side, reaching towards the sky all around. Seldom does Thanamus' daughter, swift-footed Iris, travel to her with a message upon the broad back of the sea. Whenever strife and quarrel arise among the immortals, and one of those who have their mansions on Olympus tells a lie. Zeus sends Iris to bring from afar in a golden jug the great oath of the gods, the much-renowned water icy. Which pours down from a great lofty crag. It flows abundantly from under the broad path earth, from the holy river through the black night, a branch of ocean, and a tenth portion has been assigned to her. For ninefold around the earth and the broad back of the sea he whirls in silver eddies and falls into the sea, and she as one portion flows forth from the crag, a great woe from the gods. For whoever of the immortals who possesses the peak of snowy Olympus swears a false oath, having poured a libation from her, he lies breathless for 1 full year, and he does not go near to ambrosia and nectar for nourishment, but lies there without breath and without voice on a covered bed. And an evil stupor shrouds him. And when he has completed the sickness for a long year, another, even worse trial follows upon this one. For 9 years he is cut off from participation with the gods that always are, nor does he mingle with them in their assembly or their feasts for all of 9 years. But in the 10th he mingles once again in the meetings of the immortals who have their mansions on Olympus. It is as this sort of oath that the gods have established the eternal waters of Styx, primeval, and it pours out through a rugged place. That is where the sources and limits of the dark earth are, and of murky Tartarus, of the barren sea, and of the starry sky, of everything, one after another, distressful, dank things which even the gods hate. That is where the marble gates are, and the bronze threshold, fitted together immovably upon continuous roots, self-generated, and in front, apart from all the gods, live the Titans, on the far side of the gloomy chasm. The celebrated helpers of loud-thundering Zeus live in mansions upon the foundations of ocean, Coeus and Gyges, but the deep-sounding earth-shaker made Briarus, since he was good, his son-in-law, and he gave him Chymopolia, his daughter, to wed. When Zeus had driven the Titans from the sky, huge Earth bore as her youngest son Typhos, in love with Tartarus because of golden Aphrodite. His hands are holding deeds upon strength, and tireless the strong god's feet, and from his shoulders there were 100 heads of a snake, a terrible dragon's licking with their dark tongues, and on his prodigious heads fire sparkled from his eyes under the eyebrows, and from all his heads fire burned as he glared. And there were voices in all his terrible heads, sending forth all kinds of sounds inconceivable, for sometimes they would utter sounds as though for the gods to understand, and at other times the sound of a loud bellowing, majestic bull, unstoppable in its strength, at other times that of a lion with a ruthless spirit, at other times like young dogs, a wonder to hear, and at other times he hissed as the high mountains echoed from below. And on that very day an intractable deed would have been accomplished, and he would have ruled over mortals and immortals if the Father of men and of gods had not taken sharp notice. He thundered hard and strong, and all around the earth echoed terrifyingly, and the broad sky above, and the sea, and the streams of ocean, and Tartarus in the earth. As the Lord rushed forward, great Olympus trembled under his immortal feet, and the earth groaned in response. The violet dark sea was enveloped by a conflagration from both of them. Conflagration from both of them, a thunder and lightning and fire from the monster of tornadoes and winds, and the blazing thunderbolt, and all the earth seized, and the sky and sea and long waves raged around the shores, around and about, under the rush of the immortals, and an inextinguishable shuddering arose. And Hades, who rules over the dead below, was afraid, and the Titans under Tartarus gathered around Cronus at the inextinguishable din and dread battle strife. Then when Zeus had lifted up his strength and grasped his weapons, the thunder and lightning and the blazing thunderbolt, he struck him, leaping upon him from Olympus, and all around he scorched all the prodigious heads of the terrible monster. And when he had overpowered him, scourging him with blows, he fell down lamed, and the huge earth groaned. A flame shot forth from the thunderbolted Lord in the mountains' dark, rugged dales as he was struck, and the huge earth was much burned by the prodigious blast, and it melted like tin when it is heated with skill by young men in well-perforated melting pots, or as iron, although it is the strongest thing, melts in the divine earth by the skilled hands of Hephaestus, when it is overpowered in a mountain's dales by burning fire. In the same way, the earth melted in the blaze of the burning fire, and he hurled Typhoeus into broad Tartarus, grieving him in his spirit.